morning, everybody. Happy holidays. Guess what? We're talking baseball. And no, I'm a lousy singer, so don't worry. I'm not going to go out there and destroy your ear at all. But we're talking baseball with Trent Clark. Trent, glad to have you.
Hey everybody, good to be here.
Candy Evelyn.
Great to be here.
And the newest member of our baseball crew is Tony. Again, Tony comes everywhere, whether I tell him baseball, basketball, it's a ball of some kind. But this day, it's baseball. And Wednesday night, it will be basketball, football, and whatever else I throw out there. And last but
Yes.
not least, Mr. Eric Katz.
It's good to be here. Good to be here, Scott.
All right, great to have all y'all with us. A lot of things we're going to talk about will be mainly World Baseball Classic updates, with all a few other things as well. And we'll go ahead and get to a couple of World Baseball Classic, and we'll sprinkle in the topics as we go along. We'll start off with Gunnar Gunnar Henderson, an infielder from Montgomery, Alabama, for the Baltimore Orioles, commits to Team USA World Baseball Classic. What are your thoughts, Trent?
Yeah, I mean, Gunner's young player, rookie of the year just a few years ago, so he's an up and comer. Love this, and man, it's good to see the Team USA go with some of the young talent. I do wonder if some of the veteran guys don't want to go and play more, so
Right.
it gives a real opportunity. But this guy's a player. I mean, he's established himself in the league, so Gunner's going to represent the beautiful state of Alabama very well here on the national and world level at Team USA. So I think it's fabulous that these young up and comers are getting that shot. And as we go down this list, there's a number of them.
Candy?
Let's see. Gunnar, he made his major league debut in 2022 and won the American League Rookie of the Year award and a Silver Slugger award in 2023. He was named an All-Star in 2024. Kudos to him. Love to see talent. He's a shortstop and a third baseman for the Baltimore Orioles, so he's interchangeable, which is nice so that for the World Baseball Classic, they can put him where they need him. Love seeing good, talented players say yes to World Baseball Classic.
Tony?
I love it. I love that we are, I wouldn't say it's necessarily stacking the deck, but we're adding depth to the World Baseball Classic. This is the ultimate all-star game. We know Bobby Witt will be the starter more than likely at shortstop, but if something was to happen, having Gunnar Henderson as a backup is a great fallback plan. With him being somebody who plays the left side of the infield, I'm sure he may have to play some third base, but having young talent throughout the team is always good. And him being young is a good thing because the World Baseball Classic is something that's going to come around again in what, 3 or 4 years. So we know we're building for the future with this as well.
Great points. Excellent job, Tony. Eric?
I mean, Gunnar Henderson's one of the better shortstops in baseball. Yeah, I think. Yep, it's great that Team USA is having the depth that they have this year. I think this is the most stacked Team USA team they've had in like a very long time. So, but you know, for my money though, it's good. It's going to be fun. I mean, it's great to see him out there. I know he's one of the better shortstops in baseball, and you know, I can't think of a year where Team USA has been this stacked.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of young players. I'm going to go to another one right now. And we're going to talk about Garrett Clevenger of the Tampa Bay Rays, who will play for the Team USA in World Baseball Classic. You know what? We'll go in reverse order. Eric, what are your thoughts about Garrett Clevenger?
Good reliever. Oh, he's been solid for the Rays for a very long time. And again, it's another player another great player Team USA gets that'll help them down the stretch when it comes time to when the games all count, because the World Baseball Classic is an early season, postseason atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, Team USA needs all the help that it can get because they're more than likely face off against great teams like the Dominican Republic and Japan.
Tony?
I like the Clevenger pickup. Is somebody that you're going to need in these situations, high leverage. You know, after you get past the 5th inning, you're going to have to kind of plug and play and mix and match with your bullpen. This is somebody who gets a lot of strikeouts, 82 strikeouts and only 61 innings last year. Sub 2.35 ERA. So you know he's not going to give up a lot of runs, and you'll need that because he'll be used in high leverage situations where you need shutout innings. So I love this. I love everything that they're doing with Team USA so far.
Great stuff, Tony. And again, I don't know if you have an opportunity by the end of this show here to convince me that you're going to come in twice next week, because just to let everybody know that legendary Hall of Fame writer Barry Boone could probably be on next week. I'm working on getting that finalized. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Look out. You might be on twice next week. All right. Of course, a text message will probably get it done, and he knows how I handle those. All right, Candy.
Yeah, he's a great pitcher. You always need good, fresh arms that they can rely on. Great to see him being added to the list for Team USA.
Trent.
Yeah, obviously, when you look at a bullpen, you're always looking for those specialty lefties, and Garrett brings that all day long. What he's really improved over the last couple of years is throwing strikes. He's thrown for the Dodgers. He's thrown for some big teams, big games. Now he's over with the Devil Rays, proven that he's really stepped up his game. Super effective arsenal now, and man, I think about how far he's come, and you look at his percentages of strikes, and it's been a game changer for him. And as a reliever, I've never thought relievers have the luxury of nipping around and playing around the edges of the plate. Like, you got to go out there and get ahead all the time. It's your job almost to get out there, and of course it's your job to get outs. But so many guys throw so many pitches in a short time, and he's changed that in his game, and I think it's been recognized, and therefore he gets the nod for Team USA. I think it's a big thing for Garrett.
Well, let's continue the young theme. We're going to go to the Cubs. Top prospect Owen Kayase will play for Team Canada. Well, there we go. Team Canada in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. Guess what? We'll go back to Eric.
Sorry, who was the player?
Sure, Owen Kayase.
Oh, okay. Oh, Casey. He's
Casey. All right, there you go. It's probably better. All right, go ahead.
He's a young outfielder for the Cubs. I know the Cubs are high on him. They want him to. I think they're going to give him the runway to develop at Wrigley Field this year, since Kyle Tucker is more than likely not coming back for that team. So, but the fact that he gets to play for Canada this early in his career is great. I think it's going to be great for his development. It's going to give him an early taste of like what playing baseball when it matters really feels like, and it's going to be great for his career development overall.
Tony?
I agree with Eric. It's great for development. I know teams and organizations have to, outside of the injury aspect of it, they have to love when their prospects have the opportunity to go play for other countries in these situations and get these good reps in high leverage situations. Because if you go deep in the World Baseball Classic, it gives you a playoff feel. So, those you can get through the season and it won't feel like as much pressure moving up from AAA to the show, so to speak. So I think it's a good thing for them. Shout out to Canada. I don't think that's much competition for US. So, hey, go ahead, do your thing.
I like that. Was pretty good. That was really good. I can't keep a straight face, so I'll let Candy try to do it for me.
So the San Diego Padres drafted Casey in the second round with the 45th overall selection of the 2020 Major League Baseball draft. The first player from Canada selected in that year's draft, by the way. He was also the highest selected Canadian outfielder in the MLB draft to date. He signed with San Diego in June 24th of 2020. It was part of the Yu Darvish trade that sent him to the Chicago Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
He was promoted to the major leagues on August 14th. He made his major league debut against the Toronto Blue Jays. He playing right field in a crucial game against the divisional rival Milwaukee Brewers. Casey had 3 ribbies and a 6-4 victory on August 19th, including a solo home run, which was his first. So he's a very young player. He's age 23. Kudos to him. Hey, if he wants to play for Team Canada, by all means. You love to see good talent, because if you want Team USA to win, you want them to beat good talent all around, and that just boosts the World Baseball Classic.
Right.
Yeah, Owen reminds me a little bit of a young Eric Burns. Remember Burnsy from the Oakland A's? He's got the wild hair, the red hair flying in the back, and Owen's got some skills, man. I mean, highest outfielder ever chosen out of Canada. We had a young man in the Angels organization named Jeff Guile, was a great ball player. Did very well at AAA, hard competitor, played for Team Canada for years. And really, Owen got his draft status by playing in the junior national team for Canada, and people saw him and was like, hey, this kid can absolutely play. So, I love the idea, as we all do, when the whole world comes together, chance to showcase your talents, and you find some good talent out there that's not in our country, which is fun. And blessing to Owen, man, that's a pretty special deal. And I think, like the Olympics or any of these international deals, if you get to go back and represent your country, that's a pretty good gig, right?
Daniel Smith isn't too crazy about the World Baseball Classic. He says, dumb and nobody cares. I don't know, Daniel. I think more people care than most, but evidently you don't seem to think it is. So I understand. We can appreciate opinions on both ends. We'll go to one more update. Will Smith, catcher, Louisville, out of Louisville originally, LA Dodgers. We've heard about him in the World Series, Trent. We talked about Will Smith.
I mean, like, he's the new Will Smith. I said this, I think, on the show a couple of weeks ago. He's the new Will Smith of LA, man. Forget about, the Prince of Bel-Air, man. He's the new Dodger town. He shows out every time for the Dodgers when it comes to crunch time. How many big hits has this guy had in the Dodgers playoffs over the last, 5 years? It's amazing. And yet, he's not a superstar. He's a steady Eddie. Will Smith comes, does his job, is a fabulous player, plays his position better than most, and then all of a sudden the bat comes alive when you just when you need it most, right? So and I think the guy's a humble guy. I don't know the guy, but he feels to me like a humble guy, and I'm impressed with Will Smith, man. He's kind of like a quiet star amongst some real shiners, so it's fun to see him get the limelight. And I think he's a way better replacement for, the Prince of Bel-Air, by the way, too. So this is good.
Yeah, I like quiet starts that are catchers. Okay, once upon a time, yours truly played the position. I love that. That was definitely the only position I could play on the diamond because I was bad at everything else. But come on, you have to think about it, though. You play the game of catcher. They make great managers, number one, because obviously they see the whole field and they're in every play, which is why I love the position. And number two, I get to mess around with the umpire, get to talk to my pitcher, and get to be Sigmund Freud and mess around with the umpire. I mean, the hitter, that's a beautiful position. And of course, I took all our foul balls and beatings and politicians tell lies. So maybe not quite that bad, but it was bad. And my dad owned a sporting goods store many years ago, so you can rest assured that any equipment that I needed that pertained to things below the waistline, in other words, you drink out of one, but you also have to wear one of a different kind. Okay, I always had access to those too. And I'll let everybody guess there. Candy, what are your thoughts about Will Smith?
He played college baseball for the Louisville Cardinals. He was selected to the Dodgers in the first round of the 2016 Major League Draft. Made his Major League debut in 2019. He's a three-time All-Star. Won the World Series for the Dodgers in 2020, 24, and 2025, securing the latter championship with an 11th inning home run in Game 7. We're going to be stacked at catcher because Cal Raleigh and him are both going to be playing for us. So those are two really good catchers in the game right now, which is great because that's what they need. They can call good games with the pitchers that we're going to have, and so I'm looking forward to it. Exciting.
Cal Raleigh. Come on, Candy. Cal Raleigh. Doing it in.
Okay. Raleigh.
She calls Jonathan
I love
Dunedin. That's her. I like the way she botches that name up. Anyway, she'll be going there during the spring. All right, go ahead, Tony.
I love this. And I might go as far as to say, depending on the matchup, he may start over Kyle Riley.
Amen.
Really?
He was one of the leaders. I'm trying to pull it up now. I thought he did lead, but he was one of the leaders in National League in batting average. He was in contention for the batting title up until probably the last couple weeks of the season. And one thing I know, strikeouts don't do well in big games. Okay. Like home run hitters, they normally don't. You gotta get contact. And Will Smith is just as good behind the plate, and he makes a lot more contact than Kyle Riley. I do like the fact that we probably have the best two catchers in the MLB on our side. So it's no real loss depending on who starts. But I do like the option that we have, and it goes back to USA just being deep and having depth at the position, so you have wiggle room. You can make those decisions, and I like that.
Yeah, I like the way you say there's no real loss or drop off. That's a good point. You
Yeah.
have two good catchers. You never know. I mean, let's face it, they take a beating, and remember, everybody's trying to get back in shape. It's not like you're talking. You think about it, okay. We're talking February and March, so these guys are trying to get their legs back as well. So you better have a couple quality bats out. Can't turn it over there.
Yep.
I mean, Will Smith. I mean, good offensive catcher. I mean, he's been great for the Dodgers for a number of years. He's very consistent. You know, he's about a 20, 24 homer guy consistently every year up until this past season. You know, I know against the Brewers in the NLCS, he caused all sorts of damage, and it's good to have a guy like that on the roster. He consistently makes contact. He's shown that he's been pretty good at defense in his career. I mean, he had arguably the biggest out in the history of the Los Angeles Dodgers when his spike got a hold of the edge of home plate and was able to get the force out, which ultimately helped the Dodgers win the World Series. And so, you know, it's good to have him on Team USA.
Okay, one more World Baseball Classic update. We're going to Milwaukee to get this one. Bryce Terang, Milwaukee Brewers infielder from Corona, California, commits to Team USA for the 2026 Baseball Classic. You know what, Eric? You're from there. Well, you can lead off with Bryce.
I mean, best second baseman in baseball right now. I mean, he found some power last year by hitting a career high 18 home runs, and he broke out offensively in a huge way last year. I think he's going to be someone that Team USA can depend on, especially with the glove, because, you know, up the middle, you know, no one better defensively. He's a Gold Glove, Platinum Glove winner, and so like it's great for Team USA.
Tony,
I love it. Like Eric said, one of the, or if not the best defensive second baseman. Runs are definitely going to be at a premium, and defending and saving runs are going to be at a premium at this level. I know this is the last World Baseball topic, so I feel comfortable saying this. It is cool to have most of the infield set up. We need a first baseman, guys. Who is going to play first base? Someone has to go over there. But I like that we're getting depth at second base. I like that we're getting quality players. We're not just getting the AAA guys that have been there before, you know, leading up to this. I like that the stars are coming out to play. But shout out to Terang. He's pretty good.
Candy.
Oh my goodness, Mr. Bryce. He was selected. The Brewers selected him in the first round, the 21st overall selection in the 2018 draft. He made his major league debut in 2023 and won a Golden Glove Award and the Platinum Glove Award in 2024. They were a little worried, I think, his offense, but in 2025, his offense improved after he adjusted his batting stance and increased his bat speed. So he's working on that. He earned National Player of the Month for August. First Brewer player to receive that award since Christian Yelich back in 2018. Kudos to him, because, you know, he's worked at his craft and he's improving, and that shows, and that's great. I mean, he's also a young talent. He's 26, so I think we have a lot of depth and a lot of, like Tony said, a lot of good infielders on that team USA.
Sounds like to me there's a lot of youth on this team. Who's left to talk about this?
I got him. Yeah, Terang is.
Go ahead.
You know, I knew Candy'd be excited about a Brewer, you know, entering that team, so that's exciting. And I mean, you know, it's funny. I don't hear a lot about this guy. I mean, I'm obviously been centered over the American League a long time, but you know, you got Yelich, you got a couple of the big arms, you got the young rookie arm. When people talk about the Brewers, this is another guy that is not the everyday. But yet the Milwaukee audience, the Milwaukee fan base know this guy, love this guy. What he has proven in his first 3 years in the majors is that he is an absolute defensive stalwart. Obviously, you know, going with the Gold Glove, like that is no joke for a second baseman. There are always good players in that position on defense. And so, man, that really shores up. You know, you see the USA team, you see Judge's commitment, you see Paul Skeens is going to be in there. I mean, it's rounding out nicely. I agree with Tony that, man, we're really shoring up these skill positions. who's playing first base? I think there's some big questions there, and it'll
Pete
be
Alonso,
interesting.
where are you?
Yeah. When are they going to go for the veteran Pete Alonso, the new Oriole? I mean, there's a lot there there's a lot of choices there, which is probably part of the challenge, but it's going to be interesting. And, and I know Pat Murphy up there loves defense up in Milwaukee, always been a defensive guy. So, that's great for Terang. It's great for the Milwaukee Brewers fans also to have a guy in with that team. I like that. The more teams are represented, I think the more eyes are going to be on this. So I like that too.
And by the way, I'll tell you where Pete Alonso is a couple of topics from now. Just also breaking news in the NFL: Phillip Rivers will start for the Indianapolis Colts. Just found that out. Even though it's a baseball show, I don't mind a little bit of baseball.
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers will start for the Indianapolis Colts. My goodness, I'll tell you, the fountain of youth better hit this guy. I was
going to say, is he 47? How old's Phillip Rivers?
Oh, come on, he's 44. Don't give him 3 extra years.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
5 years. 5 years.
Now you have. All right. One more baseball topic. Go to a station break. We continue on. Just throw that curveball in there since baseball's about curveball. And we put Phillip Rivers in there. All right. Well, guess what? The Texas Rangers have a new manager, one that I'm all too familiar with. And they actually hired Skip Schumacher as their manager. He gets a 4-year contract. I work with Skip with the Miami Marlins. Pretty good manager. Obviously, the Marlins didn't have a lot to work with in terms of payroll, and they dismantled that thing, but with Kim Ng, obviously. But, Eric, what are your thoughts about the hire for Skip Schumacher as the manager of the Texas Rangers?
I like the hire. It didn't surprise me that he went there as a special assistant because he knew that he probably knew that Bruce Bochy wasn't long for the position. And so, Skip wanted to be I knew Skip would have another opportunity being manager of the year. I think he just, instead of just jumping right back into it, he wanted to wait and see, what the options were. And quite a few teams replaced managers this year. And I think the Rangers are a good job. They're kind of retooling a little bit. They traded Marcus Semien, but they got Brandon Nimmo, and they also let Adolis Garcia go. So he's probably going to be working with a bit of a younger team, though. But if it's a nice mix of veterans and young players, the Rangers might have a chance to bounce back and potentially snag a wild card spot.
Very good, Tony.
I know Skip Schumacher is going to be okay, and I know he's okay as a coach, a manager in baseball terms, because he did well in Miami, and they got rid of him. They get rid of all their good assets.
Tony. Keep it up.
And he learned under somebody, future Hall of Famer Bruce Bochy. Look, man, it's hard managing baseball. Winning that award is a tough job to do. I think he'll be fine. I think he was weighing his options. You don't want to just jump into another situation that might not be successful. I think being a manager is more or also about fit, opposed to just getting a job. And I think he found somewhere that's a good fit for him. He's been in the organization long enough to know that this is a good place to put roots down. He's somewhere where Texas they don't mind spending money here and there if it's going to get you a winner. So that's also a good thing, that he's going to have something that he didn't have in Miami, so to speak. So I'm interested to see how he does. I think he'll be fine in the AL West.
Candy.
So 45 years old. He former outfielder and second baseman. He played for the St. Louis Cardinals from 2005 to 12. Went and played for the Dodgers in 2013 and the Reds 14 and 15. Then he after that he is coached for the Padres and the Cardinals, and then he managed the Miami Marlins 2023 and 2024. Kind of an unusual, Miami doesn't, and he took over from Don Mattingly. So let's face it, he was, following in such baseball football behind the all-inclusive Don Mattingly. The owner of the Marlins does not put the money into, and didn't put the money into, to really back him, to really give him players to really help him. And therefore, he left the 2024 season a little early to a family emergency, but then announced that they announced that he would not be returning in 2025. I always knew he was going to get another job because he did well with what he had in the resources that he had, even at Miami. Becoming National League Manager of the Year is no small joke, especially for a town that doesn't spend the money and give him the resources. So he was hired November 5th of 2024 by the Rangers to serve as a senior advisor by the president of baseball operations, Chris Young. And then, yes, now he's hired on October 5th, 2025 as the manager. Good luck to him.
Well, I'll say one thing. Marlins managers do get recycled. They really do. Everybody knows what they're up against. They're buying from the dollar stores what they're doing. So these guys are going to end up graduating to the $5 store. All you have to do is look at Joe Girardi. He only lasted 1 year. How did that work out in New York? So that worked out pretty good. So, yeah, I think Skip will do well second act. And, yeah, Tex will spend a little bit of money. And, by the way, a melancholy, happy rest in peace to Tom Hicks, the former owner of the Texas Rangers, who passed away at the age of 79. So I just thought I'd mention that while we're talking. Eric, did you have something you want to add before we turn it over to?
I was going to say, like, Skip Schumacher wasn't let go by the Marlins. He left on his own. What he did was he shortened his contract, took out all the options, and made the 2024 season his final year in Miami. That was completely done by choice. Now, what we're seeing with managers and front office executives is they're not just viewing these head jobs as just one of 30. What they're doing is they're really weighing out the situation. Is this going to be good? They don't want to just jump into the head job because the situation won't always be good. That's become a recent trend. That wasn't always the case. It's why a team like the Boston Red Sox, which any other year, that'd be a dream job for a lot of other people. But, it took them a while to find a GM, which they eventually settled on Craig Breslow because at this point, nobody wants to deal with John Henry because he seems to recycle general managers and managers every 5 years or so. You can argue that his team is more volatile than the White House. But as far as Tom Hicks goes, he'll best be remembered though as the guy who fell for Scott Boras and signed Alex Rodriguez just to eventually trade him to the Yankees.
That's funny. Good, great stuff, Eric. All right, Trent.
For me, I think, Kathy brings up a great point. Very strategic in his thinking. He's with the Marlins. He's doing his best. He wraps things up in the 2023 campaign. And our 24th campaign, clearly with some intent. He's been close to Bochy for a long time. So I'm sure there was a very strategic play with that front office, with the Rangers, that, hey, this was going to be the plan from the go over for 2025, be a key guy, get to know the culture, and do it from kind of behind the scenes and not be the guy out front who's got to deal with everything in the media and everything while it's all going on. So I think it's a good move on the Rangers plan. I mean, God bless to, Hicks and his family. You hate to see that in a long-time owner. As a guy at 79, 2 years ago, listen, he hit the ultimate, right? He won the World Series. This is what you really come and do these things for. So great that he experienced that. So that's amazing. And obviously Bochy, who's got some experience between Giants, Rangers, and then of course Padres. And so with a lot of playoff baseball, Skip's had a really good level of mentorship there. And, I saw the Rangers play last year, saw them in the Yankee series, and, they've got a lot of foundation there to compete. And to Eric's point, they are willing to spend money. So they're going to go get a couple strategic guys. They lost their big stud this year. He got hurt in August, their pitcher, one of their big dudes. And, I watched him go lights out in the Yankees, and, Judge was out, but I think he 4-hit him and looked great, so when you get that kind of talent you can build off guys like that all day long. And I think Skip's got a nice future ahead of him. And with the relatively new ballpark in Texas, I mean, that thing has got the fans in Dallas are excited about the team. They're kind of edging, and until the pitcher went down in August, they were, they were 2-3 games out of the wild card. They're right there, and the wheels kind of fell off for August, September, but I think Skip's positioned to get him back there and be a playoff team next year. So he should be coming out of the gate in 2026, and the Rangers should be hitting on all cylinders, at least prospective champions here in a league and a division and a playoff team.
It'll be an interesting team to watch. One more topic, go to a station break after that. Jacob Berry, a draft choice from came in Europe back in Miami. Sixth actually overall. Candy and I had a chance to talk to him in 2022 overall. Actually hit a walk-off blast in the AAA championship game. Obviously, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp were a part of that 8-7 thriller and RBI single earlier in the game. It's also interesting, though, that if he makes the big leagues, this obviously out of spring training, this is a guy that's actually known for his ability for hitting as well as his efficient timing. He's a good player. I really like this Jacob Berry. I hope he's able to get to the Marlins. If he doesn't, he's certainly a guy that watch out for that land somewhere else. We'll lead it off with you, Trent. Obviously, you know about these types of players, Jacob Berry.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, right organization. They need a guy like Jacob Berry. And it's fun to watch. That's a great sign of things to come for the Florida Marlins, that the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp not only won the American Association, but going to the national championship against, the Pacific Coast team, Las Vegas Aviators, which are about to have a major league team. I have no idea what happens to the Aviators at that point, by the way. Sidebar, but man, here's a guy who hits a walk-off in the final game. I mean, that's just awesome. And it's a great confident booster for him. He's got to go into spring training this year, earn a job in Miami, and be a guy. They need a guy like that, and he's a hometown kid. So it's fun that when you see the Florida kids come home, and there can be distractions around that, always being around your family and everything else. But I like this guy. I think he's got obviously he's got major pop. So it's going to be exciting. I'll be interested to see how the Marlins use him, but I think he'll make that club coming out of spring training.
Well, I actually hope so. Kim Ng, actually, there were some prospects she hit on, some she didn't, but Jacob Berry, for some reason or another, intrigues me. Candy?
He was assigned to Jacksonville for the 2025 season. He ended his 2025 season with a walk-off 2-run home run in the ninth inning to help the Jumbo Shrimp win the AAA National Championship game. He was named the most valuable player of that game as well. So kudos to him. Hopefully we'll see better things. He's moved throughout the minor leagues. He was in Pensacola. He was actually in Beloit for a little while, and then now Jacksonville. Let's see what he can do for the Marlins, because they selected him 6th overall in the 2022 draft.
All right, Tony, take a crack at this one.
This is great for the Marlins. No longer are we in the days of draft picks being in the minors 4, 5, 6 years. So I think it's about time to see what happens with him panning out. Him hitting that clutch home run is great, right? Because some players, it takes a while for them to develop what they call the clutch gene, or like that readiness in the moment. So for him to show that he has that already, that's just going to grow, and his confidence is just going to grow for the Marlins. And a team like the Marlins, they need their draft picks to hit. They're not big game hunters in free agency. They're not out here making those crazy trades, bringing in people. So this is great for the Marlins if he can pan out, because this is how the Marlins develop and build as a team. So I think this is great on all sides.
Eric?
I think it's great for the Marlins. I think what minor league baseball has become now is they're focused on developing skills. They're not just wanting you to just go out there and put up numbers. I think they're more focused on developing skills, never mind bag average, home runs, RBI. I think once you develop that certain skill is when they move you up. There's pros and cons to it, but I think Jacob Berry, the Marlins need a star, and I think Jacob Berry will be that guy next year.
Okay, it's time to go to a station break. Candy?
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the media business and how media has changed over that 40 years. If anybody knows somebody that wants to get into the business, whether it be the writing side or the broadcasting side, this is a great book for them to read. Why not a gift idea? Go get it today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Apple, and Google Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content, so go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show or be a guest on a show, email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Last but not least, if you see the red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel. What are you waiting for? Just do so. Click it, like us, share us, and then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. Monday nights, baseball night. Tuesday nights, football. Wednesday nights, sports exchange. You never know what Scott's got up his bag of tricks. Thursday night, come on over to the country club, as Scott affectionately calls it, my show, Fire Up. And then Saturday mornings, baseball and football lately. Enjoy. Back to you,
All right.
Scott.
Guess what? We have some breaking news. New York Mets reached an agreement with infielder Jorge Polanco on a 2-year contract with $40 million. Sources told ESPN's Jeff Passan. Polanco is expected to primarily play first base and DH for the Mets. Passan adds. All right, Eric, what you got?
I mean, Polanco had a bounce back year last year with the with the Seattle Mariners. He was a big part of their postseason run. I think I don't think he's not Pete Alonso by any stretch of the imagination, but he should be a good fill in for that team, because that team kind of needs somebody to step up there, because they're reeling right now from the losses of Pete Alonso as well as Edwin Diaz. So, good ad, and we'll see how it works out for them. But but keep in mind though, he's heading into like the latter stages of his career. He's still got some prime years left, but he's not going to be like a total replacement for Alonso, but he's a decent guy to have in the lineup.
Tony?
Mets fans have to be upset, man.
Good.
This is such a far drop off
Good.
from your career home runs, franchise home run leader, somebody who's a all-star every year. He can lace up 140 games plus, and then you come back and get Jorge Polanco. As a Yankees fan who really don't like the Mets, I'm happy to see this. It's okay. You have to have somebody play first base. I mean, it's going to be hard to replace somebody like Pete Alonso, but let's be honest, the Mariners didn't feel like Polanco was good enough, so they went and got Naylor. So that shows you the drop off of the level of first base that they're going to have at the play they're going to have there. It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe is addition by subtraction. You hear a lot of mess was going on in the clubhouse, so maybe it fits better chemistry wise, and that's what the Mets better hope for, because the production is definitely going to drop off.
Yep.
Andy?
Yeah, he's definitely a very different player than Pete Alonso. He's going to bring different aspects and different things. I hope this works out. Obviously, you have to have somebody that plays first base. You didn't feel that you could afford Pete and keep him, so therefore he left. So it'll be interesting to see how Polanco gels with the rest of the team and how they go moving forward.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with Tony on this, man. Like, the Mets were spending all the money, firing on all cylinders, creating a winning and championship caliber team. And now I would be upset if I was a Mets fan. And yet the Mets fans all expect this. They expect that this stuff's going to happen to them. It's like they anticipate the worst thing that's possible. And so it's funny to me, but I have enjoyed over the years just listening to Mets fans complain primarily. And
Good.
I think this is just another one. Yeah.
Good. Good.
Okay, well, let's continue on here. Our featured topic of the day is Cody Bellinger has opted out of his contract with the New York Yankees with 1 year, $25 million remaining. All right, Trent, why don't you just give me a prediction where he's going to land? We're going to try to go with the rest of these topics in rapid fire. We'll start off with Bellinger.
I think he's going back to Cali. Like, he's a California kid. I think he's going to go back to Padres, Dodgers, somebody out there. He wants to be on the West Coast. I don't think I don't even remember. I mean, tell me the last guy who opted out of a contract with the Yankees. This is unheard of to me anyway. So, the only thing I can think about Bellinger is he wants to go back to the warm weather and home.
Candy?
Yeah, I mean, I could see him going back to the Dodgers, I guess. Yeah, because I'm surprised you would leave the Yankees, and I'm sure he wants more of a ring and some more rings. So, who else would you go? Where else would you go? It's got to be someone that he's originally from Arizona, but I don't see him going to like the Cardinals. So I would say I can see him going back to the Dodgers.
What about you, Tony?
This is tricky. I get him opting out of the contract because it was only 1 year left. He wanted more years, even if it's the same average per year. So that's not the crazy thing about it. But it's him and Kyle Tucker. They're playing the waiting on you game. So I'm going to spin it. I'm going to give you two places. Kyle Tucker ends up with the Yankees because they have to spend some money to make their fan base happy. So we're going to overpay the Yankees going to overpay for Kyle Tucker. And Cody Bellinger is going to end up in New York and stay in New York, but as a Met.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
He can help them in the outfield, and he can play a lot of first base for them, which they need now.
I mean, for some reason, what you're saying makes a little bit of sense because Steve Cohen's seen a few more subtractions than he's seen additions. And I'll go there. All right, Eric, nobody steals your thunder. You always have it anyways.
Well, I don't see him going back to the Dodgers, and here's why, given how it ended there. The Dodgers also have a prospect who's number 13 in the MLB top 100 prospects list in Jasu DePaula. I believe he's supposed to be ready to play this year. And so like the Dodgers, even though they like to spend, though, keep in mind who's running that front office, Andrew Friedman, who loves to spend and likes to have that ability, but he also knows how to be disciplined and not spend, which I think we're starting to see that side of him this year. And he knows when to give prospects their shot. And the Mets, why in the world would you want to go to a place more dysfunctional than the Kardashians? And I personally, I see him back with the Yankees because he'd be batting behind Aaron Judge and he'll put up numbers. I promise you. And I have a feeling there will be escalators in that contract tied to those numbers. And with Aaron Judge right there, he will reach those escalators. So in the long run, he'll make more money with the Yankees. And I personally see him back with the Yankees because his father played there. And I think he enjoyed being a Yankee last year.
Well, I'll throw an intriguing one. I don't even think it's being talked about. Let's just say maybe the San Francisco Giants. Never know. Get a chance to go to the West Coast, and you have a new manager out there with Tony Vitelli. So I'll just throw that out there and see what happens. Go ahead, Tony.
And the Giants have been willing to offer these contracts. People haven't necessarily signed them, but remember, they wanted Aaron Judge. They wanted a lot of these. They wanted a lot of these players. So it could happen.
So Tony, you know what GMTA stands for, don't you?
No, what's that?
Great minds think alike. Bingo.
Hey, there we go.
There you go. That's why you really nailed it. Tony Vitelli. You'll be quizzed on GMTA. You'll have 2 opportunities to get it right next week. Just so you know.
I got you.
Okay. So don't worry. If you're going to break into this group here, you better know what GMTA is, Tony. That's your homework assignment. Okay. You're a quick study. All right. Everybody else get a crack at this one because if they did, that's good. We'll move on to the fact that Pete Alonso no longer with the New York Mets signs a 5-year deal with the Baltimore Orioles worth $1.55 million. The reality is the Mets didn't want to give him more. They didn't even make an offer. Trent, some thoughts
on who's this?
Pete
Alonso.
Yeah, I'm not shocked, I guess, that they didn't make an offer given the whole last off season and trash that kind of came down. I think the writing was on the wall. I gotta tell you, man, one thing I'm super impressed about Pete Alonso is he went and did the work last off season. He became a much better hitter this year. And now you've got a veteran presence that himself is physically pretty strong and pretty prepared. He doesn't seem to be dwindling in skill set. And so he's got a couple more years. I think he's going to add a fresh spark to the Orioles. I think the Orioles with Pete Alonso are a team to watch, actually. And if he continues to learn what he learned last year about prep and study of hitters, he kind of took a page from the great Tony Gwynn, like get prepared to hit. And he changed his approach. He changed his preparation. And that stuff starts bleeding in on the young players. And we just talked about Gunnar and some of the other Oriole young players they have. Like, watch out for the Orioles if Pete Alonso has the impact that I think he's going to have there.
Well, reality is he's going to Camden Yards, the hitter's ballpark. So I like that too. That's a natural. All right, Katie.
Amen.
On August 2nd, against the San Francisco Giants, Alonso hit a 3-run home run in the first inning for his 250th career home run. He became the second player in franchise history to accomplish this feat, along with Darryl Strawberry. Then on August 12th, he hit his 253rd career home run to break Strawberry's record. He also hit his 254th, and so he had a 3-ribby day on that day. So Alonso played in all 162 games for the Mets in 2025. He slashed 272, 347, 524 with 38 home runs and 126 ribbies. He led the National League with a career high 41 doubles. He won his first ever Silver Slugger Award for his efforts. So just like Trent was saying, he's on the rise. Baltimore Orioles they signed him to a 5-year contract with $155 million. Kudos to him for improving and getting the contract that he wanted. And, we'll see what the Orioles will do this next year.
Okay, Tony.
It's interesting to see the Orioles spend money this offseason, and they didn't last year. But it also makes sense. I got schooled earlier this year that the Orioles kind of could afford to lose this season, but not going forward. A lot of their prospects, Adley Rutschman, the Gunnar Hendersons, the Jackson Holidays, you want to start winning now before they start getting up out of there. And this is a good way to continue to win. Pete Alonso is a tell. You don't want to always bet against your best players, right? Because what if they show up and actually show out? Now they're out of your price range and out of your proverbial ballpark money-wise. And that's what happened. As a Yankees fan, it hurts my heart because the Blue Jays and the Orioles are getting better and the Yankees haven't done anything yet. But it's cool for the AL East. I like the competition of the AL East. And the Orioles are going to be a force to reckon with. If, like I say, Jackson Holiday comes along, Adley Rutschman is going to be batting. Gunnar Henderson is going to be batting well. And then you got Pete Alonso cleaning that stuff up. That's going to be a long lineup to deal with for sure.
Yeah, I tell you, they'll appreciate them in Baltimore. That's for sure. They go ahead and appreciate their heroes. All you need to do is think about Brooks Robinson and the rest of them. Go ahead, Eric.
Well, Pete Alonso come to the American League East. It makes the division a hell of a lot more tougher than it's been in a while. It was tough last year. Don't get me wrong, but this year I'm expecting it to be something straight out of Gladiator. But the Orioles needed kind of a veteran in that lineup. I think that's what they learned last year. They were trying to go a homegrown, but here's the thing: even as good as their young stars are, this league will figure you out.
Mm-hmm.
This league has a way of doing it. There's video out there. There's all sorts of other stuff out there where your guys will get figured out, and that's what happened last year to Baltimore. I think I think it's no surprise that Pete Alonso left the Mets, given the offseason fiasco that he created, that he and the Mets created last year, and I got on him good about that over multiple articles I wrote about him and the New York Mets as well. But the picture of him consoling a crying Francisco Lindor probably said it all in hindsight. I think that it's no surprise that he left. Stearns was never high on him, and he brought him back because basically Steve Cohen wanted to bring him back, and that was the only reason why he came back. He has a big year, and then he opts out of his contract, unsurprisingly, and now he earned the $125 million contract he got with Baltimore.
Great points. I love the pace of this show. We're going to keep it going. Trent, we only have a few to go, so if you can hang in there a little bit longer, you'll get them all in. I'm going as quick as I can, but everybody is giving me some great answers. I want to get everything in. All right, with that said, left-handed pitcher Steve Matz is on the move as he agrees to a multi-year deal with the Tampa Bay Rays. Trent.
Yeah, I mean, another lefty. Matzy he's a bit of a journeyman, but I think the Rays got something solid here. I mean, this is another guy. You tap that in with Kleber with Kleber. What was the other guy? Garrett Clevenger. Thank you. With Garrett, I mean, man, that shores them up in some arms. I mean, you've got to think of the whole thing. Per Katsy, what he just said, 3 minutes ago. This league is not for the faint at heart, man. Like this is this is a tough division, up and down, and man, and the unlikely hero last year of the Toronto Blue Jays coming out of this division and making just something happen, which is amazing run. I mean, anyone who comes to this division has that capability year in, year out. So you have to be thinking. I think it's the one advantage of being in this division over others is that there are some teams in the other divisions you can kind of skirt past and they will not make the investments. Every team in this division not only makes the investment, but they are prepping for what it takes to win that division. And whatever it takes to win that division is likely enough to win a world championship on most occasions. I know some things in LA are going on that are going to have a lot to say about that, but the rest of them, I don't know about. I don't know if anyone else has got enough to stop that division, whoever comes out.
Well, the bottom line is Steven Matz is going to be playing in Tropicana Field, obviously, and he's playing for a good manager over in Kevin Cash. All right, Candy.
Kudos to him. Kudos to Tampa Bay for going out and signing him. We'll see what he does. I'm going to keep it real short this time. Tony.
Go ahead, Tony.
This is a Tampa Bay Rays kind of signing. Low under the radar. There's somebody with right above a 2 ERA, somebody you could put in 6th, 7th, 8th, maybe even save a game or two for you. And this is the kind of guy who signs a deal with the Rays, balls out. And when you want to go make some bigger money, you can go somewhere else. But it's sad that everybody's spending money this offseason except the Yankees. I'm upset about that. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, but the bottom line is you made a comment that I really like, Tony. I'm going to point out to you right now. I like what you said, the Tampa Bay Rays type of signing. That's a really good comment because obviously it is. I mean, think about it. They have a certain type of, and they're always competitive every year, but their type of signing. All right, now I'll turn over, Eric. I just want to point that out to you. Go ahead. Good job.
Well, the last 2 years in Tampa really haven't been all that. But the Rays don't sign anybody unless they think they have something. They did it. That's the way. That's their modus operandi. Is they go out and find guys who you're not going to guess that are going to be productive. They did this with Zach Eflin about 2 or 3 years ago, and they're trying to find the same thing with Steven Matz, where they're seeing that they can unlock something, and that's what the Rays have done. Is what I mean. It hasn't worked with everybody. I mean, we've seen plenty of players on that team where it goes absolutely haywire to the point where they can't even keep the ball in the ballpark, and you question whether that person should be playing Major League Baseball. But the Rays don't make a move unless they think they're getting something out of it. I mean, they don't spend money like drunken sailors like they do like the Mets and the Padres have.
Yeah, they quietly find ways to go and spend it wisely. All right, we'll see with the Mets team. Obviously, the Mets signed Devin Williams for a 3-year deal. Trent.
Yeah, I mean, this is another crosstown guy, right? Devin comes over from the Yankees. I mean, like, this is you got some experience in New York. I do find the Mets, like, they must love the fact that someone's come to New York and had some level of success, and so they decide to try to keep him. I don't know what their story is. I feel like there's a theme there somehow. I'm on the fence on Devin, 4 and 6. Like, he's got some stuff. Sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes it's not great. So, to me, again, typical Mets signing, right? Like, don't know really what you're going to get. I think they're hoping for the best. And I love the fact, like, people want to go, oh, man, when he's good, he's really good. And we want that, Devin Williams. That's awesome. The challenge is you're going to get both. And this is what I feel like the Mets never, like, qualify in their signings.
Don't ask me why I think Carlos Mendoza is a good manager. I think Devin Williams is going to like playing him with him. And I had a chance to get Carlos Mendoza last year in Port St. Lucie. You won't ask for a better guy and a nicer guy to play for. Carlos Mendoza with Devin Williams. Well, Candy.
Devin Williams, Milwaukee Brewers selected him 54th pick in the 2013 draft. At the time, he had committed to playing college baseball for the Missouri Tigers, but Williams signed with the Brewers on June 16th. At that time, for a $1.35 million signing bonus. After signing him, he was assigned to the rookie level Arizona League, where he began his professional career. He played for the Brewers for multiple years. On December 13th, 2024, the Brewers traded him to the Yankees in exchange for Nestor Cortes, Caleb Durbin, and cash considerations back then, with the expectation that he would be the team's closer. He made his debut with the Yankees on March 4th, 2025, when he closed out a 12-3 win over the Philadelphia Phillies during spring training. But on April 27th, manager Aaron Boone announced that Williams was demoted from the closer role. With him showing improvement and Luke Weaver getting injured, Williams was in early June reinstated as the closer. In 67 appearances for New York, he logged a 4.79 ERA with 90 strikeouts, 18 saves over 62 innings. Mets on December 3rd signed a 3-year, $51 million contract with the Mets for Williams. He's a good closer when he's on, but when he's off, he's off. And so this will be interesting for the Mets, whether they'll be able to use him for those all 3 years. I don't know that he's got a good 3 years as a closer in him.
I know he's got another year in the Big Apple just across town, Tony.
All right. Now, as a Yankees fan, as stated, very frustrated by Devin Williams for multiple reasons. For one, he is the sole reason why they changed their facial hair rule, and he did not deserve that much clout. He used his pending free agency as leverage for that rule, and then he goes out and, as you stated, Candy, has a over 4 ERA as a closer. That is atrocious. You can't come out here making those kind of demands and stinking it up, Devin Williams, and you did. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him in the Mets. Like you said, Trent, this is a typical Met signing. They're the guy who you got to watch your girl around because they're always trying to steal your girl. And that's what they've been doing with the Yankees. They did it with Clay Holmes last year. Juan Soto, that's another thing. He was kind of a hired gun for us. But it's going to be interesting to see. Devin Williams, people didn't realize he lost like 3 miles an hour on his fastball last year. And people were sitting on the changeup because they knew he couldn't get by with his fastball. So if he can't crank up that velocity, it's going to be a long summer in New York, especially when they're used to Edwin Diaz closing stuff down and you're going to be blowing saves. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works in New York for them.
All right, Eric, that may be a tough one to follow with him, but I know you'll do it.
Well, for some reason, the Mets have always operated like this, both under the Wilpons and under Steve Cohen. They apparently have a thing for being Eskimo brothers with the Yankees. When I saw this, I laughed because, number one, Devin I don't think the guy can handle New York. I don't. You saw him you just have to watch his press conferences. He just did not like being there. It's just like, in Milwaukee's a little different, but because Milwaukee, you don't nearly have the media presence you have there. And that part, right. I think it's part of the reason why Devin Williams had the success that he had in Milwaukee. But New York's a different animal. These fans are literally breathing down your neck, and you think it's not going to be much better in Queens. The only thing that might be different, though, is that organization is such a mess that you'll wish you were playing for the Yankees and their pressure and all. Because the Yankees are a little more buttoned up than that disgusting mess that across the city, where now all of a sudden they think they're all that. But I got news for you, Mets fans. You aren't. You're that kid who peaked in high school who thought they could have been a professional athlete.
Well, how forgiving. Ryan Braun would never have made it in Big Apple. He should be thankful he was in, obviously, Milwaukee. All right, 2 more topics pertaining to the Brewers. Great segue, by the way, Eric. The Milwaukee Brewers signed former Detroit Tigers outfielder Akil Baddoo. Trent, Akil Baddoo is going to be playing over, I call it Miller Park, and I'm leaving it at that. That's my final stuff. Akil Baddoo. We've seen some of the former recycled Tigers do pretty well. We'll see if Akil Baddoo will be the latest one.
Yeah, he struggled to kind of crack that lineup. And, they were young on that outfield. He had every chance to kind of make his way in Detroit, and it never worked. I hope that maybe he just needs a little, new scene, new geography there in Milwaukee, and maybe that'll turn for Akil. I think he missed a really big opportunity to be an everyday guy in Detroit. So but a lot of guys when you get traded, released, any of that, like it feels like a new breath of fresh air. It feels like a new opportunity, and maybe this is good. And I see that worked out a lot, both for the organization and the player. They have a new level of focus. They have a new level of intensity and prioritization on things. And of course, Milwaukee does have a need, which is why they went and got him in the first place. So it's the moon and the stars are aligning for Akil to go out and get his job. He's got to go out and take it. If he doesn't do it this one, I don't think we'll hear his name again.
Candy?
I agree with you, Trent.
Candy, I want you to go ahead and mention real quick, though, who was the other guy that was recycled in Detroit that ended up doing well in Milwaukee? I'm drawing a blank on this one.
Oh, I'm Eric. I'm drawing a blank too because I know like you guys took Fielder from us, so that was the other way.
Him.
We go back and forth.
We'll go ahead with your original thought. Eric will probably come up with it.
Avisail Garcia?
No, not him.
Okay,
keep going, Candy. Right? Say what you're going to say. Maybe I'll come up with it before it's all said and done. Of course, probably the one guy I'll end up getting is Tony because he's a new kid on the block. I mean, know this guy. But go ahead, Candy.
So, Badu did have surgery last year on February 20th, 2025. So it was to repair a fracture in his right hand, which took 4 to 8 weeks of recovery. Yep. So let's face it, recovering from a hand injury when you're a batter and you've got to bat and do that takes time. And yes, they say recovery was only 4 to 8 weeks, but getting back to normal, even after that, it's kind of mental too. Like your hand is like used so much that it takes a while for you to then say, okay, wait, I'm back to normal. I'm okay. I'm not going to fracture my hand. It's fine. So I'm hoping that for the Brewers that he gets that mental side put aside. It's a change of scenery. Sometimes that's what you need. Fresh start, like you said, Trent. If he doesn't do well in Milwaukee, though, that'll be the end of his career, unfortunately. But Milwaukee does need, Christian Yelich. We have Christian Yelich, but he's had a bad back. He struggles with the back every single year, even after having surgery and stuff like that. So yeah, we need it. We need some outfield help. Hopefully he'll be able to help us where we need the help.
Yeah, I didn't know about the surgery on the hand. I assume that's probably a hamate, bone, something like that, where you break your hand. And man, that's to Candy's point. It's a terrible time to happen in February because now you're right into spring training. There's no healing time. You got to just get back on it and play through the pain. I'm sure last year was a very, very challenging season, just even getting back from that mentally. So probably a long year between the bounce of Detroit and Toledo. Obviously spent a lot of time at Toledo after that. But yeah, I think, he's going to come back. That's going to be a huge lift too, Candy, as you talk about that. Coming into spring healthy. That'll be a big deal.
Okay, go ahead, Tony.
All right, real quick. I got a couple players. You said Prince Fielder, no. Gary Sheffield played for both. Curtis Granderson played for both.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Ogilvy.
Ben Ogilvy. Yeah, it was a few years ago, wasn't him?
Yeah, so those are just the prominent players that just came up off the top.
Yeah, this other guy, just so you know, was a utility player.
Okay.
But I love the names of this guy. I've already figured out you're another crack researcher out here, pal.
Yeah, for sure.
We need to have a conversation after this show, just so you know. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, just to follow up what Candy was saying, this is the year to figure it out, right? To see what we have and what you are. Going into the season, broke a broken hand. One thing about baseball, it's all about reps. So once you're thrown off in your routine at the beginning of the season, trying to get back in against major league, even high AAA pitchers is a hard way to get back into baseball. So it's going to be interesting to see. The position is there for the taking, right? You've been traded, fresh start. If you want the job, go out there and earn it. He has the potential to do it. I think he'll do so. I think he'll do well for you guys. Well,
I'll tell you, if this thing bothers me all week, I guarantee you this group will probably be pretty much together next week. I will put it on next week's show, so just be prepared because this is starting to bother me.
Yeah.
All right,
Curtis Granderson or Daz Cameron?
No, not them, not those two either.
Jeez.
Okay.
I'll keep it up, Candy. All right, Eric. Let's talk about Akil Badu. This is really bothering me now. So I'll tell you what. I hope you're on here, Trent. Otherwise, I'll text it to you. But hopefully, you'll be on with Barry. But I don't know. Gosh, it's just driving me out. Go ahead, Eric.
I think that they are they're counting on a resurgence, kind of like what they had this past year with Andrew Vaughn when they got him from the Chicago White Sox. I think that I think that's what they're counting on. He showed tremendous promise his rookie year. He just has not been able to put it together the last few years, and Detroit has gave him ample opportunity to crack that lineup because they were that high on him. So, but hopefully it works out for him in Milwaukee. But either way for the Brewers, though, it gives them some nice outfield depth as well. And it's another guy who can play center field, because I know they've been banking on Garrett Mitchell being ready to take over center field. However, homie can't stay healthy. That's been his biggest downfall. And, they've been stuck with guys like Daz Cameron, Blake Perkins. Blake Perkins, great glove, man, just can't hit. So we'll see how it all works out. But if Garrett Mitchell keeps getting hurt, though, Badu will have ample opportunities to have success in Milwaukee. But if it doesn't work, though, he'll be Akil Badu, former Major League Baseball player.
Final topic of the night. Go ahead.
Two names: Hernan Perez.
That's it.
Hernan Perez. There we go.
Who's the other one though?
No.
Dave Engel.
Who?
Dave Engel.
Dave Engel. He was a true utility player.
No. Stop. Hernan Perez. I knew it. Thank God. So now, Trent, you don't have to wait for my message. This girl, I knew I'll tell you, she's a barracuda when it comes to research. Hernan Perez. It comes up with a situation where you're going to come up with people here that you're going to least expect. And Hernan Perez, this guy nobody knew anything about. You go to Milwaukee and pay him pennies on the dollar, and he's doing pretty well. Good job, Candy. All right, that just sent me a few text messages up during the week. All right, good stuff. All right, last topic of the night, and now I can go ahead over to the Bradley, which is a new restaurant in town, and be able to do that without having to eat crow because I didn't know that stupid stat. But what can I tell you? Yeah, but then again, I have our crack researcher here. But don't worry, Tony. We're going to turn you into one, and Eric knows it all by himself. And Trent, well, all he does is stabilize his group because he only has a few rings anyway. Final topic of the night. Anybody ever heard of the hockey news, right? Okay. Bottom line is you don't have to worry about memorizing it because Baseball America is the baseball version of it. And in his second season as manager, Pat Murphy guided the Brewers to a third consecutive NL Central title on MLB Best 97 wins, Milwaukee's first appearance in LCS in 2018. He's Baseball America 2025 MLB Manager of the Year. I'll tell you one thing, I don't know about you, Trent. I've been reading this magazine for years. You get acknowledged by Baseball America. That's a pretty good award. Don't sell that one short. Go on, Trent.
Yeah. I mean, as a manager, you obviously got the best writers. The only, these people, this is all they do is cover baseball, so they really know it in and out. And they were covering Pat back in his Notre Dame coaching days, his Arizona State coaching days. I do think it's a nice shout out for the San Francisco Giants to see. I believe Pat Murphy was a Coach of the Year at the collegiate level nationally. So, how many guys have done that? Right, who have got a manager of the year in college and now a manager of the year in the major league. So real hats off to Pat Murphy, who's adapted his style from a very, I thought, authoritarian style down at Notre Dame. The former manager of the Brewers actually played for him at Notre Dame, which is so cool. Yeah. And then, left, and I'm sure that's why he brought him in, by the way. And then as he left into his higher day in Cubbyville, that hasn't proved higher than him at all. Pat got the last laugh on that as the Brewers continue to win.
Good.
It's a real shout out to Pat Murphy and what he's done as a manager, coach. He has clear influence. He's listened to his team members. He's listened to his staff. He has adapted at every level of this game, and it's a pretty impressive award for a guy.
It really is. Katie?
So I was reading a little bit of an article, and let me read it to you guys. Pat Murphy calls the shots on the field for the Brewers, but to hear one of his players tell it, he's also positively affecting lives. I've grown tremendously playing under the man for the last 2 seasons, says Jake Bowers, a 6-year MLB veteran. Not only as a player, but as a man. He's changed my perspective on life a little bit. I feel like he's made me a better husband, made me a better father. That's something I'll never be able to repay, but I appreciate everything he's done for me. So not only does Pat Murphy do it on the field, but he's helping he's a leader of men. Like we talk about a leader on the baseball team, but he's a leader of men. He's teaching them to be better men, be better husbands, fathers, better people in the society. So for him to get this award, it warms my heart, to be honest with you, to hear this. And there was a lot of people in Milwaukee, because let's face it, I grew up in Milwaukee. I have been a fan of Milwaukee for years. Craig Counsell was loved in Milwaukee. He played in Milwaukee. And then he was the manager. And then for him to rip our hearts out and leave us to go to one of our arch rivals, the Cubs, like that at our heartstrings. But for Pat Murphy to walk in there and to follow up and to have the success he's had at such a great level in such a short time warms my heart back full. So
Okay.
I'm just grateful.
Okay, Candy, repeat after me. Baseball America.
That is the article that I took this from.
I said repeat after me. Baseball America.
Baseball America.
Bingo. Don't say anymore. I know where you get your stuff. Okay. Bottom line, Baseball America. Okay, it's a repeating thing. You don't have to do it, Tony. Go ahead and talk about the topic stuff.
I'm not gonna say he had to win, but I did a pre-show before the season started, and the only person I know who was picking the Brewers to win the NL Central was my cousin and co-host, and I thought that was far-fetched. I'm not gonna lie, and he brought them to have the best record in the National League. That's nothing to sneeze at. A National League that still has the Dodgers, a National League that still had a good Padres team. You know, it was so many teams you could think about that probably would have been better. And that just shows his skill as a manager. And what Candy read shows that it is deeper than just, I guess you want to say X's and O's in baseball, but you know what I mean? It's deeper than the play on the field. You have to connect with these people. Just how we were talking about the Mets, they have all that talent, but they have all that trouble in the clubhouse and is bleeding out onto the field. He is somebody who is a leader of men and can rally his guys together. And it shows on the field with them because they might not have the best talent, but they're going to play hard, and that's going to win you a lot of games, and that comes from managing and coaching.
Eric, your final word on this one.
I mean, Pat Murphy, though, keep in mind, though, he managed in the minor leagues, too, and he actually spent time in the San Diego Padres dugout, even as an interim manager for 42 games, I believe. So he's had time to refine himself there before he took over the job, so it's not like we're shooting somebody like Tony Vitelli out of a cannon into a major league clubhouse, which but you know, Pat Murphy deserves the award. I mean, there's the Brewers since Craig Counsell decided to Benedict Arnold his way down I-94 to Chicago. He's been great for the Brewers. The Brewers haven't missed a beat. Actually, you can probably argue the Brewers have been better without Craig Counsell. And as much as Craig is well liked around here, he's from Milwaukee, played Milwaukee, and then later on managed Milwaukee. It's been, I'd say, since Pat Murphy has taken over, the Brewers have been a better baseball team with him than they ever have under Craig Counsell, because they've won the division the last 3 years in a row. I mean, for a team like that, that's an accomplishment.
Folks, for a lot of you people who haven't seen Tony, get used to this guy. And I mean, really get used to them, because he's his first time he's actually worked with this group, and he seems to be blending in well. He blends in well, but I want to give him a shot on baseball. He's done well, and now he has a date with Barry Bloom. What should I get him on next week? And Tony, all I can tell you better learn a lot about old time baseball. But you'll have those topics in advance, but you won't have the ones on Wednesday, because nobody gets them Wednesday. All right. With that said, that does conclude this edition of Talking Baseball. But we're not done talking baseball, because we're going to talk to Trent Clark. He's going to let everybody know how to get a hold of him and talk about his book, right, Trent? You are going to do that, right?
Yeah, for sure. You can reach me. I am Trent Clark, 3-time World Series coach. And you can find me at Trent@leadershipity.com. I am a Bloom growth coach, wrote the book, Leading Winning Teams. Email me, Trent@leadershipity.com. You want to know anything about growing, developing, coaching, get a one-on-one, and I'll send you a free copy of that book.
Great stuff. And Trent's been with me for a long, long time. I'll tell you one thing, Tony, when people come to me, they're loyal and they stay around because we try to do our best to treat them right. Trent's been around with me a long time. And I'll tell you one thing, can't have enough great friends in this business. Of course, one of the guys that's learned from me from the beginning, his name is Eric Katz, otherwise known as Katsy. All right, put it out there, Eric.
You can follow me on my Twitter at Sports Team News, and you can check out my blog at bellyupsports.com, where I'm writing about all things Milwaukee Brewers. And if you think I don't like your team, I probably don't.
All right, Tony, you get to follow that.
That's a tough act to follow.
I know.
Well, good. Then you're a quick study. You're learning fast.
Yeah, for sure. It's Talking Game 1 on Instagram and TikTok. That's where I post most of my stuff. I'm also on Twitter, though. It's just Talking Game. Yeah, and I do my weekly podcast on Wednesdays, Talking Game. Other days, depending on if I have guests or anybody else on. But yeah, every Wednesday y'all can check me out at Talking Game.
All right, Candy, one last station break. Special shout out to Trent Clark. I know he's a little bit longer than normal, but the flow was going so well. We appreciate him hanging in for a few minutes because now we got it all in. Thanks so much, Trent. We appreciate you extending a few minutes longer. All right, Candy, take us to the finish line.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the industry and how it has evolved and changed. Old school media versus new school media. If you know anybody that wants to get into the business, this is a great book to read. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content, so go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show or be a guest on a show, email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. We'd love to have you. If you see the red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, click it, like us, share us, and then tell all your friends about it. And turn on your notifications so you're notified anytime we go live. We do shows Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Saturday mornings. Tune in to see what we're talking about. We'd love to have you. And we love all the comments, so keep comments coming. Thanks, Anthony, for resharing the stream. We appreciate that.
For sure.
Yeah, on X, I'll tell you one thing. X Twitter, they're coming a really big live. We'll sort of get it out there. With that said, I know Trent had to get going, but I'm glad he was able to hang in there with us. God bless Trent, and I'll be talking to him soon. Meanwhile, that does it for this edition of Talking Baseball. I want to thank everybody in the chat room, as well as Trent, of course, Eric. Tony gets his first rodeo, but definitely the first of many on this Saturday show. And Candy, what can I say? She's a jack of all trades. I've never seen a person who does as well as she does. Well, that does it for this edition of Talking Baseball. On behalf of Trent Clark, Candy Ebling, Eric Katz, and Tony Lewis, right? I want to thank everybody for joining us. Peace to this guy. And we look forward to seeing you on Monday when we go to 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. We'll have full programming next week as we get ready for the Christmas holidays. Meanwhile, thanks for everybody for joining us, not only on this one, but also Inside the Fiction earlier. We had a good show there with Candy, myself, Marvin Powell, and Mel Farr. I'll tell you what, I have 8, 9 great people today spending their time on Saturdays, and we look forward to doing it. So baseball and football today on the network. Take care, everybody. God bless. Have a great weekend, and thank you very much for joining us. Amen.